All right. I think we are ready to get started. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Tarek. I am the Relations Manager at SELETTI. First and foremost, I would like to thank everybody on this call. Really happy to see the community come apart. Obviously, it's a very big thing for us to have a very strong bond with all of our users, all of our partners, obviously, because we want to create that family bond for SELETTI. It is very important for me personally to be involved with every single one of you. Again, I did drop a video a while back introducing myself. And for those of you who didn't see the video, if you guys ever have any questions or any concerns or any clarifications, obviously you feel free to reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to assist you guys and answer the questions. Like I said, I would like to thank everybody for joining this call. It's going to be very informative. We're going to be doing a lot of these in the future, just so that we can, like I said, keep that community bond with each other for the long term. I would like to first introduce our CEO, Lenny. He will be taking over from here, answering a lot of your questions, giving you more of the insight on SELETTI, what we have planned coming up, a lot of the good stuff that you guys are sure waiting and excited to hear and engage with us on it. So I'd like to pass on the microphone to Lenny, and Lenny will take on.
Hey, Tarek, thank you so much. Hey, everybody. Once again, thanks so much for taking time out of your busy Friday afternoons here to go through this with us. As you know, I was brought on just about 2 weeks ago. I started talking with the team to go through things about making this project a reality. From my involvement, I'm contracted in as the CEO, meaning that I am a performance-based CEO. I am helping build, guide, and get this thing launched and operational. The project's success is tied to me from the standpoint, if it doesn't perform, then I don't get paid. Okay, so I'm doing this because I believe in what's going on, and I'm not salaried. I'm contracted out as CEO because I want this thing to go very far and very long. And so that was one of the criteria that I talked with the owners of this project. I've had the great opportunity over the past 2 weeks to go through every day for 1 to 2 hours. I'm meeting with the different aspects of the team, meeting with the marketing team, meeting with the developers, meeting with, of course, Tarek. One of the things Tarek didn't mention is he and I know each other for over 2 years, and the marketing director and I know each other for over 3 years. We were involved in other projects outside of DeFi, but we've known each other for a while, and we know about the DeFi space. So several of us are veterans in the fact that we've worked with each other and have found this very important to come out with something like this for the community. One of the things I'd like to mention, going back to my briefing last week, was the fact that I wanted to put that pause because I came on brand new and had a lot of things coming at me from a standpoint of, before we launch something, I want to go through and make sure we're going through all the proper things from a project management standpoint. And I'm a systems engineer by trade. So my software and system engineering background, I really wanted to check the boxes, so to speak, on that. And so I've seen, just in this short period of time, a lot of significant progress being made in those areas, specifically working with the development team and working with the folks on the plan changes. What are customer feedback? Tarek and I have had a lot of really good conversations. We monitor the Telegram chat regularly to go through things. And as you've seen, we're getting a lot more information as we go. The other aspect was really asking the questions about how the bot will perform and maintain the range. That's really one of the most important things, I would say, that I'm concerned with, because I want to make sure that this performs regularly, properly, and for a very long time. So like I said before, the leadership team, Tarek and I are not the only two people. There is the lead project engineer, who's actually he's on the call as well. So we've got a lot of experts underneath the lead project engineer. There's a development team of 25 plus people who are in different aspects of what we need to do, from website to system admins to software developers. So got a very busy job, but you'll see that they pop on from time to time to make sure if there's more of a technical question to be answered, that they're on it. So we stay on top of that. As well as with our marketing team, one of the things I like, and I see some of the names of some people who I've interfaced with, and our marketing team is interfaced with, is we really enjoy that the people on here, and most people who want to stay in the DeFi space, are committed to more integrity to the process and more transparency of how things are done. And so that's my goal, and that's something that I'm keeping in mind as we move along with this and right before launch. What I'd like to do is talk a little bit more about some of the project updates that we have. As you know, going back just 2-3 weeks ago, the CertiK audit came out. Love CertiK. I love the fact that there are CertiK and other companies in this space that are monitoring how these different projects that are coming out are meeting certain criteria. Some of their findings was spot on. Some of the things that they said that need to be addressed. And overall, in general, I was very pleased to see the audit report, as well as how the team addressed the vast majority of the comments and the findings, as I would say, that came up in the CertiK audit. Now, that being said, there are a few things that are critical pieces that we will not do, that what CertiK had asked as a recommendation. And that's because the way that the contracts are set up, the smart contracts are set up, as well as with security. And so that was the leadership team, we conferred, because I went through it. I went through all of the points, saw what was addressed, saw what wasn't addressed, or how it was addressed differently than the way that CertiK wanted it, which is well within our realm, because, as a proprietary mechanism on how we're moving forward. The centralized role, in a perfect world, yes, you would want that decentralized, but there are things about that you can't do as you're moving forward. And I've seen when some aspects are decentralized, there's a lot more introduction of human error. And so in the future, down the road, as part of the roadmap, will we have things to address that? Sure. But for now, as we're getting launched and for the foreseeable future, we're going to keep things centralized, so that we're making the changes and doing the things that are necessary to keep this up and running, and making the tweaks as part of it. That leads to the other part regarding the smart contract being published on the blockchain. I can't tell you, or people can tell you, just look at the articles, look at what happened to Ledger, look at what happened to a lot of smart contracts on how they're hacked, how people are able to reverse engineer and do things once it's on the public domain and on the public blockchain. There's a lot of really sophisticated hackers and bad actors in the space. So the decision to make it where it is a proxy contract that interfaces through multiple mechanisms, as opposed to directly published, is, I believe, and the team believes, is a smart decision on how to conduct this mechanism. Also, it gives us the flexibility to make changes to the contract as it progresses and as things move in different directions. And so with that, I kind of also want to delve into customer feedback. It's very important that everybody understands this is ours, meaning not mine, not the teams, but everyone. So customer feedback to me is very important. In monitoring Telegram, consulting with others, and seeing, how we can improve not only project implementation, but also different features on what people want, and whatever's in the art of the possible, we're going to try to implement. Everybody wants the 100% per month return on funds and all these other different things. But, there's the reality that, if you can have a well-ran program that has stable returns, that's something that's going to last for the long haul. And so that's why we are the way we are with it. I'll tell you this, we have a very long white paper out there that has a lot of information. And I like to say it's a dynamic white paper, meaning that we will take feedback and we will make changes, and we will be updating the white paper. And we will also put that in not only Telegram comments, but also in other mechanisms that we have out there, so that people understand this is what came out. This is what we took a look at it as a team. And this is what we're going to do in order to make change. So that actually really goes into my next thing that I wanted to cover, which was the plans and portfolio changes. big surprise. There's going to be a PAM AI bot coming out. But what we did in other aspects is we took a look at, well, we had four other plans. And in talking with the team, it was, well, we've got the 1.25%, we got the 0.9%. And here we are coming out with a bot that's going to perform in that range. And we didn't really get that much participation initially with it, but being that it would be a conflicting type of thing, like to invest in something that's very similar, we said we're rolling that in to the PAM AI bot, those two plans. We're going to keep the two smaller plans, the 0.5% and the 0.7%. We're going to keep those up and operational because there are people who want to come in with smaller amounts of money, and we want to have that graduated mechanism for them to build up their funds and then gradually get up to higher returns, or to stay at a lower rate depending on what they can afford. So we want to make it affordable for everyone, and so that's one of the big aspects that I wanted to cover. What you'll see is on the portfolio tab, that's going to be reduced to just those two portfolios to choose from. And then there will be a separate one for the PAM AI bot. Just so that everyone understands, in the Forex world, I'm using the acronym PAM. That's Percentage Allocation Management Module. And what that is really is an investment account in Forex, where brokers allow investors to allocate their funds. It's pooled, and then it's traded. And then there's the sharing depending on how much percentage you put into it that you get in return. And so what we've done, but what the team did, is they actually met with experienced traders. They developed the technology. They back tested. As I've stated before, they've battle tested the bot for performance over 6 months. And then, as you've seen on the site, this is money put in from the leadership team with actual trades. So what you're seeing is not paper trading, but it's actual trading that's done in Forex to show these results. One of the things about the AI bots, and many people know this, but just to reemphasize, AI bots, they use machine learning and they get better over time. So it's designed, you come in with certain parameters, but then the bots, as they get more data and information and as they interact with the different systems in Forex, they can perform better. And that's our goal and our expectation, is that over time that this will be at the higher range with the average improving over time. Another thing that was brought up with someone was, well, what happens if certain things happen with the bot on a given day? And the way that we've designed it is, if it's met the requirements for the day on the high end, we turn it off. Because what we want to make sure is we're about preserving capital. Bots and even the best of Forex traders never get 100% correct and are never getting 100% wins. If they are, they're not real. Everybody knows that, but just to be completely honest, there will be trade losses. So what we want to do is maximize the trade wins and then get out on a high note, so to speak. So that's part of what the short-term plan will be. Over the next 90 to 120 days, we're going to be watching that very closely to make sure that we have everything done correctly. We've seen a lot of good things so far. But part of that with the development team was I told them, what happens when we have $1 million? What happens when we have 5 million? What happens when we have 10 million? So the stress on the system, we wanted to make sure that has been done. And they have worked through a lot of that to make sure that there's that ability to handle the volume. Really, I've covered a lot of the aspects about where we're going and what we're doing. The other key piece that I stated, or maybe I didn't state correctly, we have that daily profit range where we're looking at 0.8 to 1.2%. So that is roughly a 25 to 35% return monthly. It is 5 days a week, as you know, Forex trading. So we will have that where any comments or questions regarding the track record of performance is out there. You look at what our interface shows. It has the separate tab that shows how it's performed during the day, where we've traded, where we've won, where we've lost. And then you have the recurring report and the archive for every day that goes back now about 10 days. Really, my whole thing about this is the goal is to provide consistent, sustainable returns. My contract and my agreement with the team is 2 years. So I'm in it for the long haul. I'm in it to make money. I've invested my own money with you. So we're in this journey together. I think we have an outstanding team who are very responsive and very positive, looking to give you all the best that we can in this environment. So with that, I believe I'll turn it back over to Tarek, because there were some questions that came in yesterday, as well as I believe some people were going to provide questions through SELETTI.AI while I was briefing. So with that, Tarek, if you want to provide me with some of the questions that came up.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, thank you so much, Lenny, for the information. Obviously, I'm pretty sure it helped a lot for whoever is looking for such information and kind of, being a bit more knowledgeable about what we do, the securities we have, and how are we planning to stay in this for the long term. So the first question, actually, you kind of touched base on it a little bit, but just so that we can be a little more explicit towards this question, is how long are we staying for? And, is this going to be around for a quote unquote very long time? So if you don't mind, Lenny, just kind of touch base a little bit more about the longevity of this, and what do you foresee Seletti doing in the next year, 2 years, maybe 5 years, and so on?
Okay, that's a great question. I am going to say that from the overall standpoint, with the longevity and sustainability, what we're doing is in the next, like I said, in 90, 120 days, that bot performance is going to be crucial, and it will get better over time. As the returns are coming in and people seeing that the returns are coming in, it's not going to be off of Ponzonomics. It's going to be off of actual trades. So when you have the proof of revenue, as we are demonstrating and will be demonstrating, that's going to contribute to the longevity. Will there be downtimes? Absolutely. Will there be times where it's not performing at the highest amount? Absolutely. But that's part of the process, and that's part of what we're looking to achieve, is if on average we are within that range over time, it will be very sustainable. Regarding the longer term plans, I've been in the DeFi space long enough to know, you want to make God smile, tell him your plans. Too many times people come out with a lot of things that they're going to do in the future. Look, we're going to add this and we're going to add that and we're going to add that. And then I've just seen it where it's gone in the wrong direction. My goal would be, I'm going to pose it back to the community. What would you like to see? What other things do you want added in? And then we poll the community as it's going, and then we see what we can add in within the art of the possible, right? I'm not going to say we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and throw a whole bunch of things. That's not how I operate. My goal is to make it that this thing works as advertised, and then some. There is talk about eventually us licensing the bot out. That will be somewhere further down the road. But to me, it's more important that we prove ourselves, prove how things are working before we get into those discussions.
Thank you, Lenny. That answered the question. So the next question, I feel like I wanna answer this question because it's more related towards the community relations. How are concerns addressed, or how accessible is the team? Obviously, as you guys have been seeing in our community chat, we are pretty accessible as the team, as the leaders, as well as the owners. Pretty accessible, whenever you guys have any questions or concerns. Now, usually, within a few hours, I would say, is when we always respond back, give or take, unless we're sleeping, obviously. But usually our response time is pretty quick. We are pretty, you can access me directly also through the Telegram community chat, or you can reach out to me directly with any questions. Yeah, we also have all of our different social media platforms that you can reach out to us through if you guys have any, like I said, any questions, concerns. But overall, me, Lenny, and the rest of the team, we are all here to build that one family and obviously be all successful together. So the next question, I'll revert that back to you, Lenny. We just got that in the chat, is if we would be offering the USDT Tron network anytime soon, as well as the USDT TRC20.
Right. So USDT TRC20 is on the Tron network. So at this particular point, we'll take a look at that. But as you know, this is on the Binance Smart Chain. What we want to do is we want to keep it to USD BEP20 for now. I can bring that back to the dev team and see what that would look like for us, because the main aspect is making sure that as it's flowing, everything is flowing and working properly. What we have as the one mechanism. But absolutely, I will get back to you on that one.
Okay, awesome. Lenny, just one more question here, and I'll check if we have any more as we go. But what makes Seletti different than all the other projects out there? What is something that Seletti stands out for?
Okay, so I have two answers. Number one is I'm going to be forthcoming and honest. You guys see my face. I'm not the type of person that's going to hold back anything if, good, bad, and different, right? So the no nonsense approach that I think this community needs is that's why I've signed up to this, because, I think there's a lot of good people out there that want to make money in a different space. They want to learn more about what's going on in the DeFi world. And so that's part of my mission is, a rising tide lifts all boats. You could do the list of how many are no longer around. And I think some people have some of these DeFi projects that have been, that I don't even know if it's in the hundreds that have gone within the past year, right? That come and go. I want to try to nip that in the bud and be part of the solution, not part of the problem. Okay. That's really some of the key differences. Putting myself out there by also with Tarek and others doing what we're doing. We're community focused and we want to improve over time. We're willing to accept constructive criticism and create that type of environment. Have others done that? To me, it's one of those things where we only get better if we work together as a team and we're helping each other out.
Thanks, Lenny. Yeah, so I did go through the rest of the questions. I'm pretty sure we covered all of the questions from what we have talked about, from what you have talked about, Lenny, sorry. So I think in terms of questions, I think we are all covered.
Thank you so much for taking the time out. We're going to have these regularly. Next week is a big week for us with the final operational testing and evaluation and execution. So I will be getting on a couple other meetings with different people, different AMAs. We will have our own AMA after launch so that the website changes, people understand. Tarek will probably do a walkthrough video to make sure people see the difference in the functionality. And then probably once we've done it, people have, given it a try and have given us feedback over the first week or so, probably have another one where we go through, hey, here's some of the common questions and issues that people are having, and here's how we're addressing them so that everybody understands, how to properly invest and get their funds back. I did want to mention one other thing for save around here was the fact that Tarek, can you quickly go through the referral program? Because I don't think that people got the opportunity to hear about that. So with the referral program, we have it where it's the first level is 10%, the second level is 5%, and the third level is 2%. And we felt 3 levels was right. I even looked at that and I was like, okay, some of these other ones that go down 10, 15 levels, that's too multi-level marketing and too much on that. I'm not a fan of that at all, because that breeds a whole other set of type of people who get involved in those type of things. And so I think we're good with the 3 levels. What we will do also, though, is go back to people and see how they feel about it and whether or not, that meets their issues or if they're happy with it. Like I said, this is not a get rich quick scheme. If you're on this call and you're looking to invest into this one as a get rich quick, I think you've made the wrong turn. It's more of steady passive income over time. So I hope people come in with that type of mentality and philosophy. And so with that, once again, thank you so much for taking the time out, and we'll see you soon.